Welcome, traveler. Tonight we are in ancient Egypt. The year is perhaps 1200 BC. The city of Memphis sleeps. The Nile moves slowly in the darkness beyond the walls, and in a low stone building at the edge of the necropolis, a man named Ka works alone. His hands are steady. His movements are slow and deliberate. The oil lamp beside him burns without flickering. Come in, sit quietly, and let the ancient night carry you to sleep. The room is cool, much cooler than the city outside, where the desert heat lingers even after midnight. The walls are thick stone, cut deep into the earth, built this way on purpose to keep the temperature low, to slow the processes that the embalmers work against. The floor is smooth limestone, worn by generations of sandaled feet, sloping very slightly toward a central drain, barely visible in the lamplight. The smell in the room is particular, not unpleasant exactly, complex, layered, natron salt, dry and mineral, cedar oil, warm and resinous, myrrh, sweet and ancient, and underneath everything, something older, earthier, the smell of linen, of stone, of time itself. Ka moves around the central stone table with the ease of long practice. He has done this for 31 years. He began as a boy of 14, sweeping the floors of this same building, watching the older embalmers work, asking careful questions when it was appropriate to ask, staying silent when it was not. Now he is the senior embalmer of Memphis, the one they call for when the person who has died is important. Tonight, the person on the table was a nobleman, a man of perhaps 55 years, a scribe who had served in the royal court for 3 decades. His family had paid for the full preparation, 70 days, the complete process, nothing omitted. It is an honor in its way, and Ka treats it as one. Ka is 45 years old. He is a compact man, neither tall nor short. His head is shaved, as is customary for those who work in the house of the dead, for reasons of cleanliness, of ritual, of the particular discipline that this work requires. His hands are his most remarkable feature, large for his size, precise in their movements, the hands of someone who has spent a lifetime doing careful, unhurried work. He does not find his profession disturbing. He never has. This sometimes surprises people who do not know him, but Ka believes, has believed since he was young, that what he does is one of the most important things a person can do. In Egyptian belief, the body must be preserved for the soul to return to it. Without the work of the embalmers, there is no afterlife. Without Ka and the people like him, the dead are simply lost. He carries this responsibility with him always, not as a burden, as a purpose. He works slowly tonight, as he always works. There is no hurry in this room, no deadline pressing, only the work itself and the attention it deserves. The process of mummification takes 70 days in total. Ka is perhaps on the 40th day with this particular nobleman. The most difficult parts are already done. The internal organs have been carefully removed and placed in their canopic jars, 4 of them, lined up on a shelf along the wall, each jar sealed with a stopper carved in the shape of a different head. The human head for the stomach, the baboon for the lungs, the jackal for the intestines, the falcon for the liver. The body has been packed in natron salt for 30 days. The salt draws out the moisture, slowly, completely, leaving the body dry and preserved. Tonight, Ka is working on the wrapping, long strips of white linen, prepared weeks in advance, bleached in the sun until they are almost luminous, then rolled carefully, ready to use. He begins at the feet, always the feet first. He works slowly, wrapping each toe individually before moving to the foot as a whole. The linen is applied in overlapping layers, each one smoothed carefully with his hands. Between the layers he places small amulets, pieces of carved faience, blue-green and smooth, each one chosen specifically, each one placed in a precise location: a scarab for the heart, a djed pillar for stability, a waz scepter for power. He knows the purpose of each one, has placed them so many times that his hands find the right positions, without his mind having to direct them. The lamp beside him burns steadily. The room is very quiet. Ka's mind, when he works, enters a particular state. Not quite thinking, not quite empty, something between the two, a kind of alert stillness. His hands move and his eyes watch, and some part of him monitors the work constantly, checking the tension of the linen, the placement of the amulets, the evenness of the layers. But the rest of his mind floats. He thinks about small things, often. The meal his wife will prepare tomorrow, the sound his youngest daughter makes when she laughs, a sudden burst, like a bird startled from a branch, the particular quality of the light in the late afternoon, when the sun is low over the western desert and everything turns the color of honey. He thinks about the man on the table sometimes too, not with grief. He did not know this man personally, but with a kind of respectful curiosity. What was his life like? He had been a scribe, a keeper of records. His hands, which Ka can see even now through the wrappings, are smooth, not the hands of someone who worked outdoors, in the fields or on the river. The hands of someone who sat at a table, as Ka sits at his table, and did careful, precise work by lamplight. In that way, Ka thinks, they are not so different. Two men who spent their lives in careful attention to something that mattered, one with words, one with hands. Ka grew up near the river. His father had been a fisherman, one of the thousands of men who made their living from the Nile, up before dawn every morning, on the water by first light, home in the afternoon, smelling of fish and river water, his hands rough and brown. Ka had gone with him sometimes as a small boy. He remembered the river in the early morning, the way the mist lay on the water before the sun came up, low and white and completely still. The papyrus reeds along the bank, their tall stalks barely moving, the sound of the oars dipping into the water, a soft rhythmic sound that he could still hear in his memory perfectly. His father had been a quiet man, not cold, warm in his way, but economical with words. He expressed things through actions, through being present, through the patient teaching of small skills, how to hold an oar, how to read the current, how to know where the fish were likely to be by the color of the water and the behavior of the birds overhead. Ka had learned to be observant from his father, to watch carefully before acting, to let understanding come slowly, rather than rushing toward conclusions. These were the qualities that had made him good at his work. He thought of his father often in this room. The old fisherman had died 8 years ago. Ka had prepared his body himself, had worked more slowly than usual that night, more carefully, had placed the amulets with particular attention, had said the prayers quietly to himself in the empty room. It was the only time in 31 years that his hands had not been completely steady. Outside, Memphis sleeps. The great city, one of the largest in the world, is almost completely silent. The market district, usually so loud, the calls of merchants, the haggling, the movement of animals and carts, is empty and dark. The palace quarter is quiet. The guards at the gates stand still, their spears upright, their eyes moving slowly across the empty courtyards. The temple of Ptah, the great craftsman god, patron of this city, stands dark against the sky, its massive stone pylons casting shadows in the moonlight, its courtyards empty, its inner sanctum lit by a single lamp tended by the priest on night duty. The Nile moves beyond the city walls, wide and dark and slow. At this time of year, after the inundation has receded, the river is at its normal level, moving steadily northward toward the sea, carrying on its surface the reflection of the stars, broken and shifting, reformed and broken again. The desert begins where the city ends. To the west, beyond the necropolis where Ka works, the desert stretches without interruption, flat and pale in the moonlight, completely still, the sand holding the warmth of the day, releasing it slowly into the cold night air. Above it all, the sky. The Egyptian sky at night is extraordinary. No clouds tonight, no haze, just the deep, clear black of a desert night. And the stars, more of them than most people ever see. The Egyptians have named them all, have tracked their movements for thousands of years, have built their greatest monuments in alignment with specific stars. Ka looks up sometimes through the small high window of his workroom, a rectangle of sky, a few stars visible through it. Enough. At certain points in the process, Ka speaks, not to himself exactly, to the gods, to the dead, to whatever is present in the room beyond what he can see. The prayers are ancient, older than Ka, older than his teachers, older than their teachers before them. Pas, said down in an unbroken chain for centuries, words worn smooth by generations of use, like stones in a riverbed. He says them quietly, not performing, not declaiming, just speaking in a low, steady voice into the quiet room, words asking for safe passage, for the opening of the ways, for the heart to be found light when it is weighed against the feather of truth. He does not know with certainty what he believes about the afterlife. He has spent his life preparing bodies for a journey he has never taken, has sent thousands of people, or their physical forms, towards something he cannot see or verify. He finds he does not need certainty. The ritual itself is enough. The care, the attention, the refusal to let someone pass from this world into whatever comes next without being accompanied, without being prepared, without someone spending time and thought and skill on their behalf. That, he thinks, is what the prayers are really about. Not theology, presence, the simple human act of not looking away. The lamp is burning lower now. Ka reaches to the side without looking and lifts a small clay vessel of oil, adds a careful amount to the lamp. The flame steadies and brightens slightly. He continues working. The wrapping is almost complete now. The nobleman's body is almost entirely covered in white linen, layer upon layer, smooth and even, the shape of a human form, preserved and protected, ready for its long sleep. There is only the face left. Ka works here most carefully of all. The linen applied in small pieces fitted precisely around the features, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, all wrapped with particular attention. A mask will be placed over the face once the wrapping is complete. Gilded wood, painted with the face of the nobleman as he appeared in life, or as the artist imagined he appeared. Idealized, calm, eternal, but the wrapping beneath must be perfect first. Ka makes it perfect. Outside the high window, the sky has changed, almost imperceptibly. The deepest black has softened very slightly at the edges. Not light yet, not even close to light, but the suggestion of it. the memory of light returning. Ka notices it. He always notices it. The turning of the night. He steps back from the table, looks at his work. The nobleman lies still and wrapped and ready. 40 days of preparation behind him, 30 more to come. But tonight's work is done. Ka sets down his tools, washes his hands in a basin of water beside the door, slowly, carefully. The water is cool against his skin. He dries his hands on a linen cloth, looks around the room one last time. Everything in order, everything as it should be. He lifts his lamp, walks to the door, pauses, turns back to look at the figure on the table. He does this every night. A final acknowledgement, a moment of quiet respect. Then he goes. His footsteps fade down the stone corridor. The room is left in silence. The lamp on the wall burns on, small and steady. The Nile moves beyond the city. The stars continue their slow turn. The desert holds its ancient stillness. And in this cool stone room, in the heart of the most ancient civilization the world has ever known, everything is still. Everything is held. Everything is in its proper place. Let your own breathing slow now. Feel the weight of your body, heavy and still and perfectly supported. You are held, too, by something much older than you, something that has watched over the living and the dead for thousands of years. The night is deep, the stars are turning slowly overhead, and there is nothing required of you now. No task, no decision, no weight to carry, just this breath, in and out, in and out. Let everything soften, let everything slow, down and down, into the deep, still sleep of the ancient world, where the Nile moves and the stars turn, and the desert holds its silence. Sleep well, traveler. Ka is keeping watch tonight.